Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss about one of the aspect of land revenue system, that is Ryotwari settlement. In this context, we'll discuss about what is Ryotwari settlement, what are the features, what are the reasons of implementing this, and what are the impacts of this Ryotwari settlement. Initially it was introduced as an experiment in 1792 by Captain Reed and Thomas Munro in the Baramahal area of Karnataka, and later around 1820 Thomas Munro argued for its implementation in a major portion of British India. He maintained that historically land in India was owned by the state, which collected the revenue from peasants through hierarchy of officials through grant of land. The power of this landlord state rested on military strength, and when this power declined, polygarchs appropriated the land and usurped sovereignty. Later around in 1820, Thomas Munro introduced it in the Presidency of Madras and Elphinstone in the Bombay Presidency. This settlement covers 51% area of British India. What are the features of Ryotwari settlement? Land ownership rights were retained with the ryots, and it was hereditary and transferable. Land revenue was directly negotiated between the peasants and British authorities. Like permanent settlement, in Ryotwari also, if peasants defaulted on payment, then the British could snatch their land. For calculation and imposition of taxes, a comparative and scientific method was adopted, whereby land surveyed then classified according to fertility, and moreover, before imposing the tax, the expense on growing a particular crop was to be deducted. And finally, deducting the expense, the revenue rate cannot be fixed more than 50%, but in practical, more than 50% extracted. To implement Ryotwari settlement, there was a need of good number of employees in a hierarchical manner. There was a provision of relief to the peasants during natural calamity, but in practical, peasants were not given any relief. Contrary to permanent settlement, here revenue rates were to be revised after interval of 30 years. Reasons of implementing Ryotwari settlement. Keeping in mind that in permanent settlement, there was no provision of revision. As per the utilitarian thought, land ownership right was to be retained with ryots to feed the industries of Britain and make India a market of raw material suppliers. What are the impacts of Ryotwari settlement? Through it served the targeted British authorities, but also lead to increase in administrative expenses. When peasants were not able to pay the revenue, they started taking loans from money lenders and mortgaged their land. It also led to marginalization of small and landless peasants, many of them trapped in vicious cycle of debt. It didn't eliminate village elites. In fact, village elites gradually, like polygarchs, mirasidars, gradually positioned themselves comfortably in subordinate ranks of revenue establishment. Some of them brought lucrative and large tract of irrigated land after getting their official appointment. Enhancement of power of elite resulted into coercion, bribery and corruption by subordinate officials. It led to establishment of Madras Torture Commission, which in 1855 indicated reform. As such, the new scientific survey of land and fresh revenue assessment started.